Hi, I'm Bob Zimmer, Member of Parliament with Grant from the Scia'new Nation, here to talk about the public fishery and our salmon. So Grant, you talked to me about, we just were out on the water and actually were crab fishing for a little bit. Talk about how you first got involved in fishing.
Well, that I don't actually know because I've pretty much been in it my entire life. My mother was the manager of the marina for 15 plus years, and my father worked at the marina as well for 20, 30 years. And then after, when they moved on from the marina, my brother Russ became the manager of the marina. And now he's currently our chief. And now here I am back at the marina, a marina which I've worked at for probably probably 16 plus years, getting a paycheck. Yeah. Probably another 20 not getting paid for it.
Yeah. Well, maybe speak about your plans. And I know we've seen how busy the marina can get when the public fishery is open, and how much it impacts your nation. It's quite dramatic.
It is. Currently, they're planning a closure coming up, and what that'll entail is actually leaving an area inside of our bay open from the west side of Fraser straight across over to Crikey Point. And that area, although that open area encompasses our entire bay, the actual only fishable area is maybe about the size of 4 or 5 football fields. And then we end up with 400, 500, 600 boats all crammed into this one tiny area, because that's the only area that they're able to retain it. Right. And not unlike us here on the reservation, who use this food, the resources out here to eat. Right. A lot of people off reservation do that as well with their, they have a lot of time and money invested in their boats. And with COVID going on right now, there's not a lot else people can do. Nobody can travel, and you can't really, go out in groups. So being out on the water with your family is one of the most safest things they can do. Right. And then to take away their ability to be able to keep those resources that they're getting, it impacts them as well. So we're lucky enough to have this area to fish in, but at the same point in time, it does need to be opened up a little bit more just to accommodate those other people. And
I guess the question that we're trying to relay to the viewers is, are there fish to catch?
The fishing this winter season has been phenomenal. Even today, we've had a few people out for less than an hour, and they were able to get their limit of fish in a very short period of time.
Talk about the impacts to you as a community. We've seen it. I've seen pictures where it's absolutely full in here. It's great for your nation and great for you as a people.
Yeah. We're just starting into our fishing season now, and when word starts getting out that there's going to be a closure, people kind of have to make a choice on what they're going to do, which is either put the boat in, be able to go out fishing, not be able to retain, and it kind of feels like a loss. And us as a nation, when the closure first happened, they had said that we weren't allowed to be able to fish either. So we actually had to fight to retain our right to be able to fish in our traditional waters. Yeah. And now just having even my status card isn't enough. I have to fly a flag on my boat that, lets the fisheries know that I'm part of this nation, that I'm allowed to fish in my traditional waters, something we've been doing for quite some time now. And, it's a right that's not just ours that we say is ours. It's something that's in our treaty that says this is our traditional waters, we're allowed to fish here. Yeah. To remove that resource from us, it's heartbreaking. And then to be able to have such a beautiful natural resource that we have right here, and especially when you have the access to be able to go and do it, to have that taken away, it's heartbreaking. So that's why we fought to make sure that, there's people like Chris Boss and our band, to make sure that people had access to be able to get out, even if it is in such a limited area, to be able to go out and fish. And especially when the fishing it's great. It's been great for the last 3 years. Some of the best runs I've seen in 15, 20 years.
Well, and maybe let's just talk about environmental stewardship for a minute. And you gave us a great example out on the water just catching those crabs, and you talked about too, at some point, sometimes you need to close things down to have that stock replenished. Yep. I think to be specific about the salmon though, and to really contrast the two, because again, what the viewer, they see it as just one big group of fish, but there's areas that are doing well and there's areas that need help.
For sure.
And you don't need to close the whole area, but again, where you need to, that's the responsible thing to do.
You can do a responsible approach, as opposed to having, being able to retain 2 fish, drop it down to 1, to just shut it down completely and take away a natural resource that people have been relying on out here for generations.
When you see a downturn in the public fishery, or you see a closure, I should say closure in the public fishery, and you see a downturn here, what kind of impacts does that have on maybe your family and families in the community? Exactly.
To remove the marina would be to remove a very large chunk of the band's soul, essentially.
Yeah, that's a really good way to say it. It isn't just about the money or something like that. It's about our heritage. And
Yes.
you know, I say this as a person that's fished with my grandfather, my dad, and family.
Heritage doesn't just have to mean about, you know, Aboriginals in general.
Right.
You know, it's part of a lot of people here. We've had people that have come to the marina that have been here quite literally longer than the dirt.
So Grant, where do we go from here? We know that there's, again, certain issues with certain stocks. Other stocks are doing well. You know, we need to protect some. Others are okay to fish. Where do we go from here?
There isn't really a blanket solution, in my opinion, to where you can just shut down everything and send everybody home. That doesn't work for anything, and we know that through COVID, where you can't just lock people up in their house and say, all right, now you have to stay here.
Yeah.
You know, people started going crazy.
Yeah.
And that would happen the same thing with the fishing industry. So there isn't a blanket solution that's going to work across the board. It has to be looked at through sustainability and, you know, available resources. So, and it has to be on an area by area basis.
Right. Well, thank you, Grant, for taking the time to take us out on the water and showing us around. It's a beautiful community, beautiful work that you've done here, and thank you for your conservation and environmental stewardship in this beautiful bay again. And thanks for your time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Like so many British Columbians, some of my favorite memories are fishing with my family. If you believe the minister needs to start listening to the concerns of our BC fishing families and communities, I encourage you to call her at her office at 902-527-5655 or send an email to bernadette.jordan@parle.gc.ca. We must ensure that our children and our grandchildren have the opportunity to enjoy the great outdoors and participate in an angling tradition that has been a proud way of life for generations.